go to Jacksonville, Tennessee. Well, if you've been to Atlanta's Hartsfield Jackson Airport, you already know it's a huge airport with many terminals. And so I rushed as fast as I could to get to my gate. The flight was leaving, watch this, at 4:05. That was the schedule. I looked at the monitor. It said it's on time. I couldn't believe it because it was storming in Atlanta. And so I get to the gate at 4:01, and guess what? They had already shut the door to the gate. And to make matters worse, watch this, I looked out the window and could see the plane that I was supposed to be on. Can you feel my frustration? I'm there before the plane was scheduled to take off, and I could see it, but I could not get on it. In a real sense, I'm standing there irritated, aggravated, and frustrated. There was a man who was on my same flight from Nashville who had also rushed with me to catch this flight to Jacksonville, and as soon as he noticed that we were not going to catch that flight, he hollered out, "That's so unfair." Well, I'm not going to lie and deny he was correct, but I used some other language as I spoke in an unknown tongue because of the fact it was unjust and unfair. Pray for me. I'm working on it for the new year. And so in a real sense, there we stood having missed our flight. It was unjust. It was unfair. It was not right. And yet all I could do was hurry up and wait helplessly for the next flight. And somebody's in the house today. Guess what? Life has been unfair. It's been unjust. And here you are waiting because life has been unfair and downright unjust. It's a low down dirty shame when you do your best, you pay your dues, and you play by the rules, and yet you find yourself delayed and waiting because of circumstances beyond your control. Who am I talking to? Who is here tonight? And yes, that's your story. You are waiting because of something that's unfair and unjust. Sadly, my brothers and sisters, we live in a state that has the highest number of people who don't have health care coverage, and we are represented in the Senate by two individuals who had the arrogant audacity to vote against health care reform. That's sad. That's really sad because they already have health care coverage, and yet they stood against it while the many people in this state have to wait. Watch this. They are waiting because of injustice. I'm not even through. We live in a state that has the highest number of people who've been exonerated by DNA evidence for crimes that they did not commit. Watch it. They served the time though they did not commit the crime. That meant that they had to literally sit in prison for something they did not do, some for as long as 35 years. What could they do but sit there handcuffed by helplessness and wait? And the sad thing is there are those in this county who are upset about the work of our district attorney, Craig Watkins, and they have the audacity to say all he's done in his tenure is set innocent people free. Hell, that's all he's done. Well, that's what justice is called. Justice is what he is there to dispense. All I'm trying to say is they found themselves having to wait because life was unfair and unjust. Who am I talking to who's honest enough to say, you know what, Freddie, you telling my story tonight. I'm in a state of waiting. I don't want to be where I am. The doors are not opening. My breakthrough has not happened. And the sad reality is it's unfair and it's unjust. Well, if you're in the house, I don't want you to give up. Come on to our text and notice, if you will, there's a sister by the name of Anna. Anna, my brothers and sisters, is marginalized of the marginalized. Watch this. Anna, my brothers and sisters, was a widow. Widows were marginalized and and mistreated. They were neglected in biblical antiquity because women, as it already was, found themselves at the bottom of the totem pole of status in society. But now here's this woman, her husband having died 7 years after they said I do, and now she is the marginalized weight of the marginalized. Why do I say that? Because the people of God were oppressed. The Jews were oppressed by Rome. Rome was running things, and it's sad to live in an oppressed society. But guess what? Every now and then you live long enough, if you're not a part of the have-gots and you're a part of the have-nots, you know something about oppression. Oppression is insidious, toxic, and poisonous, in that oppression will get in your system and cause you to settle for settling. It will take the fight out of you. Oppression, watch this, will cause you to become happy when you see exceptions make it, who somehow are able to rise above oppression, and you so identify with their success that it blinds you to the masses in misery. That's what oppression will do. That's what Tim Wise talks about in his classic Between Barack and a Hard Place, and about the sad reality that oppression still goes on. Though we have President Barack Obama in the White House, yes, he's in the White House, but we still have brown and black communities where they burn toxic waste, and incinerators are in that area, and they proliferate more than they do in any other part of our communities. What am I trying to say is that oftentimes we get excited about Oprah and Obama, but we forget about the others who are still struggling and suffering. And please don't get it twisted. Just because there are some exceptions, that does not mean that oppression no longer exists. Yeah, we're excited about the fact that health care reform was passed in spite of the backward senators from this state. It was passed, but don't overlook the sad reality that health care reform, according to Tim Wise, does not address a lot of the health disparities or health outcomes that exist because of oppression in this nation. Do you not know study after study has revealed that in this nation there are African Americans with hypertension, suffering from heart disease, and it's related to oppression and racism. There are women who are suffering from heart disease. It's related to sexism in this country. They have that, and yet watch this. A study has revealed that whenever African Americans go to the doctor, more than often than not, they are not given the whole diagnostic series of tests, in spite of the fact that they are in there oftentimes because oppression has fed heart disease and hypertension, but they are not given the same affordable health care coverage in terms of diagnostic tests, simply because of the color of their skin. Tests have shown that. Is that not unfair and unjust? It speaks of the reality of oppression in this country. That's what Anna is experiencing. But hold on, because her name, you missed it, is Anna. You didn't shout. I got to help you shout. I knew y'all would be sophisticated at this service because you're getting dressed to go wherever you're going after this service is over. So you didn't really come to shout. So I'm going to teach you for just a little while. Etymologically, the word Anna, watch this, it means grace. Grace shows up in an oppressive situation. Grace shows up in situation where people had been waiting for God to step in and deliver. Grace shows up because God is so good that God says that discrimination cannot deny my grace showing up in my child's life. Discrimination, racism cannot restrict my grace. Sexism cannot stop my grace. I'm such an awesome God. I will show up in anybody's life, in anybody's anybody's situation, and no system, no hateration can stop the grace of God at work and moving in your life. And y'all sitting there playing holy on me, but if you look back over your life, some of you are where you are not because you had the best advantages, not because people opened up doors for you, not because you had the best education, not because you always had money, but you have what you have. You are where you are because God's grace got in your situation. God's grace took care of you when you could not take care of yourself. God's grace opened up doors for you, and guess what? Your fingerprints weren't even on the doorknob. God's grace. God's grace. What is grace? I'm glad you asked. Grace is unmerited favor. Grace is unmerited favor. You're not shouting unmerited, I don't deserve it. Unmerited, I did not earn it. Anybody here to testify as you look back over your life, as you look back over 2009, yes, you work hard, but God gave you some stuff that you didn't ask for. God gave you some stuff you didn't earn. God gave you some stuff you don't deserve. Hey, unmerited favor. Unmerited favor. Favor is when something is done for you that you can't explain. You ever had something happen and like, just kind of happened. Anybody got some blessings? Some blessings? It's like, how'd you put that child through school and you on your own? How'd you get that job and maintain as you have maintained, knowing all that you're up against? Matter of fact, how do you keep on praising God? I know what you've been through. I know what you're dealing with, and yet you still give God. Matter of fact, the doctor wrote you off a long time ago, and yet you are still here. How'd you do it? Unmerited favor. Grace. Oh my God. How did we survive 09? Grace. How'd you get through all the hell you got through in 09? Grace. Some of y'all lost your job in 09, but you ain't missed a meal. It's called grace. Some of y'all lost the honey in 09, but you feel more loved than you've ever felt before. It's called grace. And so here it is. Here it is. When you have to wait, watch God. Waiting, don't miss this. This is going to shout you. Waiting in terms of you being victim or victor has to do with your disposition. And your disposition has to do with, watch this, are you just waiting helplessly, or are you waiting hopefully in expectation? Because if you wait in expectation, then no matter what is going on around you, you know the longer you wait, the closer you get to what God has in store for you. I got to shout you right quick. Y'all know who took 2009 by storm and 08? Usain Bolt. You don't know about Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt runs track. He's a Jamaican brother. He runs track. Usain Bolt is the fastest man alive. He holds the world record in the 100 and the 200 meter dash. And the brother is so cold that he has an Ali-like sense about him. He's real cool and calm before the race. And then whenever he gets ready to race, he always does, watch this, his boat. And he simply does like that to let you know I'm cool because I know what's about to happen. I'm simply moving in anticipation of what's about to go down. And then after he wins, he's got to do the same thing. He does his lightning bolt. But check this. Earlier this summer, he was running and it was in a storm, Rick. It was a storm. Usain ran in a storm. And here's the killer. He ran under 10 seconds in the 100 meters in a storm, a torrential downpour. But what got me was they interviewed people people who were getting ready to go into, they were buying tickets to go into the track stadium where Usain was running. And before the track meet, the rain was pouring down, but they stood in line in the midst of the storm. You're missing your shout. They are in line waiting to get tickets, waiting to go in, and the storm is coming down. They are in line. That means they can't get to where they're trying to go. They've got to wait where they are if they're going to get where they're trying to go. So they wait in a storm. They interviewed one man and they asked him, "Why are you waiting here?" He said, "Because my man Usain is about to run and I don't want to miss him, because you never know what Usain's going to do." And when he said that, he said, "But it's storming out here." He said, "That's all right. I'm just going to stand here because I know when I get inside the stadium, I just don't know what Usain may do." And y'all, it hit me. When you walk with Jesus, if he will do that to see Usain, I don't know what you're going through, but if you're walking with the Lord and you find yourself in a storm, don't you give up. Just stand there, because you know that when you get where you're going, ain't no telling what God may do. All right. I ain't getting you yet, so I got to help you, because I feel you. You thinking, you talking to me, you saying, "Freddie Haynes, you in my Kool-Aid." That's all this year's been. I've been waiting. Ain't nothing happening. But you telling me I've got something to look forward to. How do I handle the wait? Glad you asked. I'm going to give y'all three, and we're going to say Happy New Year. Number one, the text says, watch it. What happens to you is not designed to stop you, but reposition you. Okay, I got to do it again because you didn't shout. Whatever has happened to you, it wasn't designed to stop you, but to reposition you. Oh, you're not getting this thing yet. Whatever happened to you, it's not supposed to stop you. And let's be real, we've had some stuff happen to us that really could have stopped us in our tracks. Some of y'all got laid off your job. That was unfair and unjust. Some of y'all have worked for a clown, and that clown has been out to get you for so long, and they finally got what they were looking for, and now you are without work. And so guess what? It's not that it stopped you. It simply was God repositioning you. God is repositioning you so you can watch this come in contact with what God has for you. This is good. Text says her husband died 7 years after they said "I do." That's jacked up. He died 7 years into marriage, and now she's on her own. But it didn't stop her. It repositioned her. You didn't shout. It didn't stop her. It repositioned her. Because the death of a relationship doesn't have to kill you. I got to go there since y'all playing holy. Some of y'all had some relationships die in 2009, but don't let it kill you. Whenever a relationship dies, you don't let it kill you. Have a funeral. Don't just hang around saying, "Oh, I wish you would come back to me." Have a funeral. Don't get upset because she left you for another man. Let her go. Now she's on his dime, and you go ahead and say, "See, you don't want to be." Don't get upset because he had a midlife crisis and all of a sudden he don't want to be married no more, and so you sitting around all upset singing, "I'm going down," because you ain't around. No, baby Baba, now is the time to have a funeral. Yeah. Funeral. Because the worst thing to do is to live with a dead relationship. That's Freddie Haynes is preaching. Have a funeral. Funeral. At the funeral, say all the stuff you want to say about them. And don't lie. Say it all. Because you got to release it. Get it out of you. And then after you release it, get it out of you, then you go ahead and you got to go to the cemetery. At the cemetery, Fitz, what do you say when you get ready to deposit the remains? Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Some of y'all need to look at somebody who's on the other side of the church and say, that's why you over there and I'm over here. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Maybe that father did not want to be your daddy. Don't spend another moment trying to make him be something he ain't equipped to be. Just say earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If they walked out on you, don't spend another moment lamenting that loss. Say earth to earth, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. It's about to get gooder. Her husband's dead, but she ain't. Oh, this is good. This is good. It's so good because God will bless you to profit from your losses. There's some stuff you got to lose before you can gain what God is up to. I don't know why y'all playing holy on me right now, but is there anybody who will testify, I wouldn't have what I have right now had I not let go of what I let go? Wait. You can profit from your losses. Watch this. And when you do that, you'll soon discover that society may label you, but God will redefine you. Society labeled her what? A widow. God called her to be a prophet. Society said, you a widow. We are labeling you and defining you according to what happened to you. God said, no, baby girl, I'm not going to label you according to what happened to you. I'm going to call you out of your loss. Is there anybody here who needs to hear that word? And that is whatever or whoever you lost in 09, God is repositioning you so you can come into clear understanding of the calling that's on your life. So could have stopped you, repositioned you. I did this on Facebook. Let me do it now. Kobe Bryant, whatever you think of him, boy can ball. Kobe can play. Kobe, I have new respect for him because Kobe is now playing with a broken index finger on his shooting hand. The hand he shoots with, his index finger, that guides the direction of the ball and makes it spin and rotate as it should, broke. But he ain't quit. He's still playing. Wait. I'm watching the game on Christmas where they lost to Cleveland, but check this. They did a piece before the game and they showed how Kobe, watch this, has wrapped it up, the broken finger. He has not quit playing it. He wrapped up the finger and has adjusted how he shoots. He didn't quit. He adjusted. When life breaks you, don't quit. Adjust. I gotta shout you. Because, what's up? Because now he's averaging more points after he broke his finger than he did before he broke his finger. Meaning you ain't got to quit because you experience brokenness. You keep on playing through your brokenness. And guess what? They have a brand new statistic now. A statistic that they applied to Kobe. His average points per game before the break was about 28. Now it's 36. He's averaging 36 points a game after he broke his finger. And so now they call it AB. After break. Uh-oh. I got to bless somebody right now. because some of y'all went through it this past year, but don't you let anybody count you out and act as if it's all over. Just say, you ain't seen my after break, because what I'm going to do is make some adjustments, and once I make some adjustments, I'm going to do more after my break than I did before my break. I'm going to adjust. I got to rush. There's something else the text says. It messes with me. The text now says, watch it, be faithful to your mission in the meantime. In the meantime. I hate waiting. Waiting is the meantime. And the meantimes can be a mean time. Meantime can be a mean time. I want this to happen. It ain't happening right now. I'm waiting. What do? I make the most of the meantime by being faithful to my mission. See, because it's in waiting that our eyes are open to our calling. She discovers that she is a prophetess in the meantime. She is a prophetess. She hears from God. She speaks for God. She receives the word from God that speaks to the people of God. She is a herald for God. I said she, y'all. Some of y'all not getting this. She is a preacher. She is declaring the good news. She is telling people what thus saith the Lord. That's to all of my chauvinistic preachers and people out there who think a woman is only good for cleaning around the pulpit, dusting off the pulpit. No, baby Baba, I serve a God who can call anybody. And so watch it. I love it because she is a prophetess and she's faithful to her mission in the meantime. Oh man, you know, I know what's going on. Y'all are so sensitive. I appreciate how much you love me. And so you're thinking about my situation in Atlanta and how did that turn out? And you're not going to shout until you find out how it turned out. So I missed that plane, and they told me there was another plane that they were going to book me on, and that plane was leaving in 45 minutes. They told me what gate it was going, what gate it was leaving from. I go to that gate area. On my way to that gate area, I'm able to get some food because they have a restaurant in Hartsfield Jackson Airport that I love. It's a soul food restaurant. Forgot the name of the place right now, but they serve some good soul food. I had not eaten all day, so I got to eat in the meantime. I looked at my shoes. My shoes weren't shining like they needed to, so I went and got my shoes shine in the meantime. Stuff is happening for me in the meantime that would not have happened had I caught my flight when I wanted to catch my flight. Here's the shout as I'm walking down the hallway towards where I'm going. All of a sudden I see a huge throng of people. I'm looking to see because somebody must be famous in there. I look to see if it's DeMarcus Ware. No, it ain't DeMarcus Ware. And after I discovered it ain't DeMarcus, I said, well, shoot, it can't be nobody that big. But D, it was somebody bigger than you. It was Muhammad Ali, the greatest, and y'all know how I love me some Ali. Ali was walking down the corridor. I saw the champ, the greatest of all time. His wife was next to him, Lonnie. I went up to her. I said, please, you know how much I love this man. I saw y'all last year at the Democratic National Convention, and Ali looked at me and dipped. I said, come on, champ, come on, champ. Come on, champ. And then Ali, guess what? He held up his fist, hit me at my jaw. I fell down like I had been knocked out. I said, oh man, you're the champ. I love you. I love you. I got to see Ali because I missed my flight. I got some food in my body because I missed my flight. I got my shoes shined because I missed my flight. I'm glad I missed that flight because though I missed that flight, I caught the next flight. But guess what? I made the most of the meantime. And all I'm trying to say, don't sit around complaining because life hadn't gone the way you want to. Get yourself up. Handle your business in the meantime. You don't know who God will send your way. What did she do? The text says, watch it, she worshiped in the temple day and night. You got me worshiping day and night. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. That was, all right. Forgive me. Had a flashback. Wrong song. She worshiped day and night. Worship, worship. I know y'all sophisticated, so unpacking the word worship in Greek, there are two words. One is proskuneo, picture of a dog kissing the hand of its owner. Came across a story about this veterinarian that was leaving his office one night and came across a dog in an alley that was in bad shape. The dog had been abused and neglected, and so the veterinarian goes to the dog. The dog tries to bite it because it does not know if this is friend or foe, but he finally picks up the dog, carries the dog to his office, begins to tend to the dog's wounds, feeds the dog, nurses the dog back to health, and before you know it, the dog is looking good. The dog is healthy. The dog is on the road to recovery, and before you know it, every time that dog saw that veterinarian, guess what the dog would do? She would lick the hand of that veterinarian. Why was she doing that? She was doing that because of what those hands had done. Those hands had picked her up when she was broken. Those hands had carried her when she couldn't carry herself. Those hands had tended to her wounds and brought about the healing in her life. Those hands had brought her back from the very edge of death. Those hands had given her another chance. And all I'm trying to say, when I come to church on Sunday, y'all got to excuse me if you see me going ahead and getting into my worship mode and feeling God all by myself like y'all ain't even here. You know why? Because guess what? As far as I'm concerned, it don't matter if you're here, because your hands didn't make a way for me. Your hands didn't carry me. Your hands did not lift me. And so whenever I'm kissing the hand of God, that's worship. Wait. But that ain't the word used here. That was free. The word used here is not proskuneo, it's latreo. Latreo, watch this, is service in a spirit of worship. And so whenever you love God, it's not just contemplative reflection where you kiss the hand of God in worship in church. It's also leaving church and engaging in service. You see, I'm worshiping God when I feed those who are hungry. I'm worshiping God when I clothe those who are naked. I'm worshiping God when I serve God in the sanctuary. I'm worshiping God when I do for people who cannot do anything back for me. I'm worshiping God. If I can help somebody as I pass along, cheer somebody with the word of song, show somebody he's traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. And so they worship. She worshiped in the meantime. But I got to quit, because in the final analysis, this text shouts me like crazy. Because look what the text finally says. The text says, I'm going to read it to you because you think I'm making this up. The text shouts me. See what it says in verse 38. Coming up to them, at that very moment, she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who were looking forward to the redemption of Jerusalem. You didn't shout. She praised God for the tease. Okay, I got to back it up because you're not getting this. She broke out in praise because the text says at that very moment. What moment? You got to go back to the preceding verses and you discover that Simeon had seen the child come up to be dedicated. The child, the baby Jesus, was being dedicated by his parents, Mary and surrogate father Joseph. And the Bible says Simeon prophesied about what this child would do. And then at that very moment, here comes Anna. At that moment, Anna shows up. At that moment, it's like when you walk with God and you've been waiting, God knows when to get you where, so you can experience what God has for you that's uniquely for you. So all you got to do is remain faithful and trust the timing of God. Timing. I ain't coming through. I guess I got to go here since it's football season and we got a big game this coming Sunday. We've already upset the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, got them real good. Got the Saints real good, and then went ahead and defeated the Redskins. Now we got the Eagles coming to town, and my boy is, how you doing, D? Is that it, man? That's it. Watch it. Whenever he sacks, he always hits the ground like you going down. But watch this, watch this. So here it is. In football, whenever a quarterback is playing in a timing-based passing offense, watch it. Quarterback goes back to pass. 3 or 5 step drop. Am I right? And once he reaches the 3rd or 5th step, watch this. He throws the ball not to the receiver, but to where the receiver is supposed to be. So the quarterback goes back to pass 3 steps, throws the ball. The receiver has the responsibility of fighting off whoever is in front of him, because his thing is, you know what? I got to be in a certain place, and you are between me and where I'm trying to get. So whatever I have to do, if I got to hit you, I'm going to hit you. If I got to outrun you, I'm going to outrun you. But the bottom line is, I'm going to be in the right place at the right time. God told me to tell somebody, quit sitting around here upset because folk are trying to stop you. You're supposed to have defenders. You're supposed to have opposition. You're supposed to have haters. But don't you let them tackle you. You do whatever you have to do to get where you're supposed to be. And God will deliver. Wait. Text says, she began to thank God. I'm done. Thank God. Thank God. And the Greek word for thank God right here, watch this, is a word that it's a compound of 2 words. Over against, acknowledge. Acknowledge what you've seen. That's what praise ought to do. Acknowledge what you've seen. What you see? A baby shouting over a baby? But oh, what a baby. This baby was going to grow up in Nazareth. This baby was going to be baptized in the Jordan. This baby was going to perform miracles in a desert place. This baby was going to feed the multitude with just 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. This baby was going to raise the dead. This baby was going to open blind eyes. This baby was going to feed the hungry. This baby was going to lift those who were down. This baby was going to lift those who were downtrodden. This baby was going to set the captives free. This baby was going to die one Friday. This baby was going to get up one Sunday. But all she saw was a baby. She's shouting. Okay, I got to be honest with you. I got teased from Snoop. Because y'all know there's a radio show on every Sunday, 5 to 7, award-winning, top-ranked radio show called Freddie Haynes Unscripted. And I didn't know nothing about radio when I began the show back in March. And Snoop taught me that in radio, there is what is known as a tease. A tease. You're coming to the end of a segment, but you want to make sure the people come back after the stop set. Stop set, that's commercials. So in order for the people to endure the commercials, endure the stop set, you've got to tease them by telling them what's next. But you don't give it all to them. Just give them a little bit. Give them just enough. Tease them so that they will hang on in there through the stop set. Hang on in there through the commercials. Endure all they've got to endure. You want them to come back, and so you give them a tease. Oh, I'm about to shout you because it hit me every now and then. When you walk with God, God don't give it all to you at one time. God just gives you a tease. The tease lets you know every blessing is not here yet. But if you keep on waking up, if you refuse to give up, I tell you, if you stay tuned, the best is yet to come. If you stay tuned, weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. If you stay tuned, wait on the Lord. Be of good courage. He will strengthen thine heart. If you stay tuned, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, run and not get weary, walk and not faint. So stay tuned. And that's my word for you as we shut down 2009 and move in to 2010. God says, stay tuned, because the best of your story has yet to be told. Stay tuned, because you ain't seen nothing yet. The best is yet to come. Is there anybody here who's going to stay tuned? Stay tuned, because God isn't dead. Stay tuned, because God isn't done. Because if you stay tuned, you never know what's around the corner. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do like that brother in line, waiting to see Usain Bolt. I'm going to stand in the rain, stand in the storm, stand until my change comes. Why? Because I know that when the line moves, I'm going to move. When the line moves, I'm going to move. I'm not standing there all helpless, but I'm standing. Is there anybody here who will join me? It's still 2009. It's still 09. But is there anybody here who will say, I ain't there yet? But eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither have it entered into the hearts of men the good things that God has in store for you. I've got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. 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 Y'all excuse me. I'm trying to sit down, but you don't know, like I know, how good God's been to me. So I'm going to stand. Oh, stand. Oh, stand. Stand. Because I know because the closer I get, the more I'm going to shout. I'm not there yet, but while I wait till the battle is over, I'm going to shout now. I'm done. We got another service. We got another service. But hallelujah. Listen, every head bowed, every eye closed. Oh my God. Every Christian, please pray.